Your soulmate is trying to meet you, their location will shock you, and I need you to pause for a moment and really feel this, because you didn't arrive here by chance. There is a reason your attention slowed down right now, a reason these words are finding you instead of passing you by. Somewhere in the world, at this exact moment, someone connected to your soul is moving through their day with a strange sense of restlessness they can't explain. They feel like something is about to change. Like they are being gently pulled toward a place, a moment, a decision that will alter their life. And what's shocking isn't just that they're trying to meet you. It's where they are being guided to do it. Let me tell you this like a story, because that's how life unfolds, quietly and unexpectedly. Your soulmate isn't sitting still, waiting for fate to knock on their door. They are in motion. They've been nudged by circumstances that seemed random at first. A change in routine. A sudden invitation. A job shift. A short trip they almost didn't take. Even a delay or a detour that felt inconvenient. To them, it all feels unplanned. To you, it may feel like nothing at all is happening yet. But beneath the surface, the universe is aligning steps on both sides. What makes this connection different is that it's not being forced. Neither of you is chasing. Neither of you is desperately searching. You've both been through enough to know that forcing love only leads to exhaustion. So instead, you're living, healing, becoming. And in that process, your paths are quietly bending toward one another. Your soulmate's location right now would surprise you because it's not some romantic fantasy or dramatic setting. It's ordinary. A familiar place. Somewhere they didn't expect anything extraordinary to happen. And that's the point. Soul connections rarely arrive with fireworks and announcements. They slip into your life disguised as normal moments, until suddenly, nothing feels normal anymore. You may feel a sense of anticipation lately without knowing why. A feeling that something is about to shift. You might be cleaning up your life, letting go of old habits, old connections, old versions of yourself. That's not coincidence. You're making space. And they are doing the same, even if they don't realize it consciously yet. Right now, they're being drawn to environments that reflect who they're becoming, not who they used to be. They're leaving behind places that kept them small or distracted. They're choosing growth, even when it feels uncomfortable. And each of those choices is narrowing the distance between you. Here's the part that often shocks people when they finally look back. Your soulmate is closer than you think, not necessarily in miles, but in timing. The gap between your lives is shrinking because you're both aligning internally. The universe doesn't bring two people together until they're ready to recognize each other. That readiness isn't perfection. It's awareness. Think about where you are now compared to where you were a year ago. The lessons you've learned. The boundaries you've set. The clarity you've gained about what you will and won't accept. That growth wasn't just for you. It was preparation. And while you were doing that inner work, so were they, in their own way, in their own space. They may be feeling a pull toward a place connected to you indirectly. A city. A workplace. A social circle. A class. An event. Even a digital space. Something is guiding them there, step by step. They don't know your name yet. They don't know your face yet. But they know they're supposed to be somewhere new, somewhere different, somewhere that feels aligned with who they are becoming. And you, on your side, might feel an urge to say yes more often. To go somewhere you'd usually decline. To show up when you'd normally stay home. Those impulses matter. They are gentle invitations from the universe, nudging you closer to a meeting that will feel oddly familiar when it happens. When soulmates finally cross paths, it rarely feels dramatic at first. It feels comfortable. Easy. Like a conversation that picks up mid-sentence. Like you've known each other longer than you actually have. There's a calm recognition, a sense of safety that doesn't need explanation. What will shock you most isn't where they are geographically. It's how aligned your lives will feel in that moment. The timing. The emotional readiness. The fact that you both arrived there after choosing yourselves instead of settling. Until then, there may be moments of loneliness or doubt. Times when you wonder if you missed your chance or if love is taking too long. But delays are not denials. Sometimes they are protection. The universe keeps people apart until meeting would do more harm than good. Your soulmate is not lost. They are not avoiding you. They are being shaped by experiences they still need, just as you are. And every step they take, every place they go, is quietly closing the distance. You don't need to search harder. You don't need to force outcomes. Your only job right now is to stay present, stay open, and stay aligned with who you truly are. When the moment comes, it will feel natural, not rushed. As this chapter unfolds, trust the subtle signs. The inner nudges. The changes in routine. The invitations that feel random but persistent. Those are the breadcrumbs leading you toward each other. And remember this as you move through your day. Love that is meant for you doesn't miss you. It meets you exactly where you are, when you are finally ready to be seen. If this message resonated with you, stay till the end and take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who might need this reminder, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what's coming next. Sometimes the most shocking meetings happen when you least expect them, and you'll want to be here for the rest of this story. Stay with me, because now the story moves from anticipation into alignment. What you didn't see before is beginning to reveal itself in quiet ways, the kind you only recognize once you slow down enough to feel them. While you've been living your life, adjusting your rhythm, and learning to trust your instincts again, something very specific has been happening on the other side of this connection. The person meant to meet you has been feeling a growing sense of restlessness that no distraction seems to calm. Not anxiety, not excitement exactly, but a persistent pull toward change. They may not even be able to explain it to themselves. They just know that staying where they are no longer feels right. Conversations that once satisfied them now feel incomplete. Routines that felt safe now feel stagnant. And so, they begin making small changes, unaware that each one is guiding them closer to you. A different route to work. A new place they start spending time. A decision to show up to something they would normally avoid. These shifts seem ordinary, but they are precise. At the same time, you may notice that your intuition is sharper than it used to be. You sense when something is off. You sense when something feels aligned. You no longer ignore those feelings. And because of that, your choices are becoming cleaner, more intentional. You're not moving out of fear anymore. You're moving out of clarity. That clarity is what allows the timing to line up. Your soulmate's location right now might seem completely disconnected from you on the surface. Different city. Different circle. Different lifestyle. But energetically, you are closer than you've ever been. The distance that once existed between you wasn't physical. It was emotional readiness. And that distance is closing. They are being guided into environments that reflect who they are becoming, not who they used to be. They are stepping away from places that drain them and into spaces that encourage growth. Sometimes that means leaving something familiar. Sometimes it means arriving somewhere unexpected. And sometimes it means standing in a place thinking, I don't know why I'm here, but something told me to come. You may be feeling that same nudge. The urge to say yes instead of no. To try something new without overthinking it. To be present instead of retreating. These impulses are not random. They are responses to the alignment happening beneath the surface. What's important to understand is that soulmate connections don't rush. They arrive when both people can meet each other as they are, not as they were. That's why the timing feels so deliberate. You're no longer operating from old wounds. You're no longer trying to fill emptiness. You're learning how to enjoy your own company, how to feel grounded in your life. And that stability creates space for a connection that enhances, rather than completes, you. On their side, they are reaching a similar place. They're letting go of distractions. Releasing attachments that no longer fit. Becoming more honest with themselves about what they want and what they're ready for. That honesty is drawing them into places where authenticity matters, where real connection is possible. This is why the meeting won't feel forced when it happens. It will feel natural, like two paths crossing at exactly the right moment. You might not even recognize it immediately. It could start as a simple conversation. A shared laugh. A feeling of familiarity that doesn't need explanation. But something will click. A sense of ease. A sense of recognition. Until then, there may be moments when you feel impatient. Moments when you wonder why nothing seems to be happening yet. But so much is happening behind the scenes. Timing is not about speed. It's about precision. Every delay has been purposeful. Every redirection has been intentional. You were kept apart from this person until you were both ready to meet each other without confusion, fear, or attachment to the past. And now that readiness is forming. You don't need to watch for signs obsessively. You don't need to analyze every coincidence. The guidance is gentle, not urgent. When something is meant for you, it moves toward you without force. Pay attention to where you feel drawn. The places you feel comfortable. The environments where you feel like yourself. That's where alignment happens. That's where recognition occurs. And when you finally meet, the most surprising part won't be where they came from or how you found each other. It will be how calm it feels. How easy. How right. Until that moment arrives, continue doing what you've been doing. Showing up for your life. honoring your boundaries, trusting your instincts, living in a way that feels honest. The meeting is not something you have to chase. It's something you're already moving toward, simply by being who you are now. Stay open. Stay present. And trust that what is meant to find you is already on its way, guided step by step to the same place you are being led. Stay with this feeling, because now the movement becomes more noticeable, even if it's still quiet on the surface. This is the phase where alignment turns into momentum. Things begin to shift in ways that feel too intentional to be random, yet too subtle to fully explain. On their side, the pull they've been feeling starts to translate into action. Not dramatic action, not impulsive leaps, but deliberate steps towards something new. They begin placing themselves in environments that feel more honest. Less noise, more meaning. They might change how they spend their evenings, who they surround themselves with, or what they prioritize when they wake up each day. There's a growing sense that they no longer want shallow interactions or distractions that numb time. They want substance. They want connection that feels real. And even though they don't know it yet, that desire is what's guiding them closer to you. At the same time, you may notice that your own life feels strangely rearranged. Certain doors are closing without resistance. Situations that once drained you no longer hold power over you. You're less reactive, less rushed. You're not trying to make things happen anymore. You're allowing. And in that allowing, space opens up in ways you couldn't have planned. This is where trust becomes essential. Because when you're used to striving, stillness can feel like nothing is happening. But stillness is often where the most precise adjustments occur. The universe doesn't need chaos to move things into place. It works best when you're not interfering. Your soulmate's location continues to shift, not just physically but emotionally. They're shedding versions of themselves that no longer fit. Old expectations. Old fears. Old habits that kept them disconnected. This process isn't easy. There are moments of doubt, moments of questioning whether change is worth it. But something keeps pushing them forward. A sense that staying the same would cost them more than stepping into the unknown. You may feel that same inner nudge. A desire to simplify. To live more authentically. To choose quality over quantity in all areas of your life. These parallel movements are not coincidence. They are synchronization. What's fascinating about soulmate connections is that they don't announce themselves ahead of time. They prepare you first. They refine you. They teach you patience, discernment, and self-trust long before the meeting ever happens. That way, when you do meet, you're not clinging. You're not projecting. You're present. This is also the phase where old patterns try one last time to resurface. Familiar distractions. Familiar people. Familiar emotions that once pulled you off course. But now, you notice them without being consumed. You see clearly what no longer aligns. And that clarity keeps you moving forward. They are experiencing something similar. They may find themselves questioning past choices, not with regret, but with understanding. Seeing how certain connections taught them what they don't want. How certain experiences prepared them for something deeper. That reflection is shaping them into someone capable of meeting you as an equal. You don't need to know where they are right now. You don't need to imagine the moment of meeting in detail. In fact, over-imagining can pull you out of alignment. What matters is that you stay connected to your own life. To what feels nourishing. To what feels true. Because here's what often shocks people later. The meeting doesn't happen when both people are looking for it. It happens when both people are living fully without needing it. That's when recognition feels effortless. When the moment approaches, you may notice subtle signals. Increased synchronicities. Repeating themes. A sense of calm excitement without anxiety attached. These aren't signs to rush. They're reminders to stay grounded. Your soulmate is not on a pedestal. Neither are you. You're two individuals being guided toward a shared moment because your paths now complement rather than conflict. That's why timing matters more than desire. As this alignment continues, you may feel a growing confidence in your choices. You trust your pace. You trust your instincts. You trust that what's meant for you won't require chasing or convincing. They are learning that too. Learning to slow down. To listen. To be present. To recognize value without needing loss to highlight it. When you eventually cross paths, the energy will feel balanced. There won't be confusion about intentions. There won't be emotional turbulence. There will be curiosity, openness, and a sense of mutual respect from the start. Until then, your role is simple, though not always easy. Stay honest with yourself. Stay open to new experiences without forcing outcomes. Stay rooted in who you are becoming. This phase is not about waiting. It's about living in alignment so that when the meeting occurs, it fits naturally into your life instead of disrupting it. You are not behind. They are not lost. The connection is not fragile. It's being built quietly, deliberately, and with care. Trust the movement. Trust the timing. And trust that the most meaningful meetings often begin as ordinary moments, until you realize they've changed everything. Stay with me a little longer, because now the energy shifts from movement into convergence. This is the phase where paths don't just align in theory, they begin brushing against each other in real time. You may not recognize it immediately, but something in your daily life is subtly rearranging itself to make room for a meeting that will feel both unexpected and strangely inevitable. At this point, your soulmate is no longer just feeling the pull. They're acting on it in ways that feel natural to them. They're choosing environments that reflect who they are now, not who they were trying to be before. They're showing up more authentically in conversations. Letting go of distractions that once filled space but never fulfilled them. They might feel an unusual clarity about what matters and what doesn't, even if they can't explain where that clarity came from. You are experiencing a similar shift. You're less tolerant of misalignment. You don't force yourself into places, conversations, or situations that drain you. You're listening to your body, your intuition, your energy. You're choosing comfort that doesn't come at the cost of your truth. And because of that, your presence feels different. Grounded. Open. Calm. This is important, because soulmate meetings don't happen in chaos. They happen in presence. You may notice that certain routines change without much effort. You take a different route. You accept an invitation you would have declined before. You linger somewhere a little longer than planned. These aren't dramatic decisions, but they matter. They are gentle course corrections. Small adjustments that place you in the right space at the right time. Meanwhile, they are being guided through similar adjustments. Their world is narrowing in a way that feels purposeful. Less noise. Fewer distractions. More intention. And without knowing it, both of you are being brought into overlapping spaces. Not because you're searching for each other, but because you're both responding to the same internal alignment. This is often the moment when people expect fireworks, but that's not how it works. The energy here is quiet. Steady. There's no rush. No urgency. Just a sense that things are unfolding exactly as they should. If you pay close attention, you may feel more present in your own life than you have in a long time. Less focused on outcomes. Less attached to timelines. More engaged with what's in front of you. That presence is what allows recognition to happen when the moment arrives. Your soulmate's location, when you finally understand it, will surprise you not because it's exotic or dramatic, but because it will feel obvious in hindsight. You'll think back and realize how many subtle steps led you both there. How many choices had to be made. How many moments of growth had to occur before that crossing could happen without confusion or fear. This is also the phase where patience becomes a form of trust. Not passive waiting, but active living without resistance. You're not holding your breath. You're breathing fully. You're not postponing joy. You're allowing it now. They are learning that too. Learning to be content in the present instead of chasing what's missing. That contentment is what creates space for genuine connection. Sometimes, just before paths cross, there's a sense of calm that feels almost anticlimactic. That's because the nervous system no longer needs to be on alert. You're not bracing for disappointment. You're open without being vulnerable in a way that costs you. You might notice that old anxieties don't surface the way they used to. Old doubts don't grip as tightly. You trust yourself to handle whatever comes next. And that self-trust is key. It ensures that when you meet, you're not projecting expectations. You're meeting them as they are. They will be doing the same. This phase is also about letting go of how you think the meeting should happen. The mind wants a story. A perfect scenario. A clear signal. But soul connections rarely follow scripts. They unfold in real life, in real moments, often when you're not trying to make anything happen. What matters is that both of you arrive whole. Not perfect, but present. Not guarded, but grounded. You may feel a sense of readiness now that you didn't feel before. Not excitement that spikes and crashes, but a steady openness. A willingness to receive without chasing. To connect without losing yourself. That's how you'll know you're close. Not because of dramatic signs, but because of how peaceful you feel about whatever comes next. Your soulmate is not trying to complete you. They're not arriving to fill a void. They're moving toward you because your lives now complement each other. Because the work you both did separately has created compatibility, not dependency. And when your paths finally cross, the recognition won't be loud. It will be quiet. Familiar. Like something settling into place. Until then, continue living exactly as you are. Showing up. Choosing alignment. Trusting the subtle guidance that's been leading you this far. Nothing is being rushed. Nothing is being missed. Everything is moving with precision. And the moment that's meant to find you will arrive not because you waited perfectly, but because you lived honestly. Keep going. You're closer than you think. Stay right here, because this is where everything begins to crystallize in a way that feels deeply personal. This is the phase where the universe stops rearranging things quietly in the background and starts placing you exactly where you need to be, without forcing anything, without rushing anything. It's subtle, but undeniable. You may feel it as a calm certainty settling into your chest, the kind that doesn't need reassurance. At this point, you've both reached a level of internal steadiness that didn't exist before. You're no longer trying to escape loneliness or prove your worth through connection. You've learned how to be present with yourself, how to enjoy your own rhythm, how to trust your instincts. That inner stability changes how you move through the world. You're not scanning rooms anymore. You're not searching faces. You're simply there. And that presence is magnetic. Your soulmate is experiencing something similar. Their life has slowed in the right ways. Not stagnant, but intentional. They're more selective about where they go and who they give their energy to. They're choosing environments that feel grounded, places where conversation flows naturally and people show up as they are. They may not be consciously looking for anyone, but they are unconsciously available in a way they've never been before. This is often when the final layers of resistance fall away. Old expectations about how love should look, how it should arrive, how quickly it should happen, begin to dissolve. You're no longer attached to a specific outcome. You trust that whatever unfolds will be manageable because you trust yourself now. You might notice that your awareness sharpens during everyday moments. You're more present in conversations. More attuned to your surroundings. You pick up on energy shifts more easily. This isn't hypervigilance. It's clarity. And clarity allows you to recognize alignment when it appears, even in ordinary settings. What's important here is that nothing feels forced. There's no pressure to perform, impress, or be anything other than yourself. That's the state in which genuine connection can finally enter. You're no longer leading with old wounds or unmet needs. You're leading with authenticity. Your soulmate's path has narrowed now. Not in limitation, but in focus. The noise has faded. The distractions that once pulled them away no longer hold the same appeal. They're present enough to notice when something feels right. They're open enough to engage without armor. This is where the shock often comes later, when you look back and realize how close you were without knowing it. The near overlaps. The shared spaces. The moments where timing almost intersected. All of that was part of the calibration. The universe doesn't rush meetings like this. It fine-tunes them. You may feel a sense of calm anticipation now, but not the kind that makes you restless. It's more like a quiet readiness. A feeling that whatever is coming will meet you where you are, not where you used to be. That's how you know you're aligned. You're also no longer afraid of things not working out. That fear once kept you stuck, tolerating less than you deserved. Now, you trust that if something doesn't align, you'll know, and you'll be okay. That confidence frees you to be open without being attached. This phase teaches you something essential. Love doesn't arrive to save you. It arrives to walk with you. And the walking only works when both people are steady on their own. Your soulmate isn't rushing toward you because they don't need to. They're being guided. And guidance doesn't shout. It nudges. It adjusts. It places. You might find yourself in conversations that feel unexpectedly meaningful. Encounters that linger in your thoughts without effort. Moments that feel slightly charged but calm at the same time. These are not signs to grasp. They are invitations to stay present. There's also a deepening trust in timing now. You no longer feel like life is withholding something from you. You feel like it's preparing you. That shift alone changes everything. When the meeting finally happens, what will stand out most is how normal it feels. No dramatic build-up. No overwhelming rush. Just a sense of ease. Like you're exactly where you're supposed to be, talking to someone who feels strangely familiar. And that familiarity won't come from fantasy. It will come from alignment. From shared values. From emotional availability. From two people who did the work separately and can now meet without confusion. Until that moment arrives, you're not waiting. You're living. Fully. Honestly. Openly. You're allowing joy where it fits. Rest where it's needed. Growth where it's required. And that balance is what allows the final pieces to fall into place. Nothing is missing. Nothing is late. Nothing is wrong. You are exactly where you need to be, and so are they. Keep trusting the subtle guidance. Keep choosing what feels true. Keep showing up as yourself. The meeting doesn't need effort. It needs alignment. And that alignment is already happening, one quiet step at a time. Stay open. Stay grounded. Stay present. You're closer than you realize, and when it happens, you'll understand why everything unfolded the way it did. Stay with this final moment, because now everything settles into understanding. This is where anticipation softens into trust, and trust turns into quiet knowing. By now, you're no longer wondering if something is coming. You can feel that it already is. Not rushing toward you, not hiding from you, but unfolding naturally, exactly at the pace your life can receive it. At this stage, you've learned something invaluable. You no longer measure progress by visible movement. You recognize it in how calm you feel. In how steady your choices are. In how little you need reassurance from the outside world. You're not asking, "When will it happen?" anymore. You're simply living in a way that allows it to. Your soulmate, wherever they are right now, is in that same quiet place. The noise has fallen away. The restlessness has softened. They are no longer searching outward for something to fix an inner ache. They are present enough to notice what's in front of them. And presence is what makes recognition possible. The meeting doesn't arrive as a reward for waiting. It arrives as a response to alignment. Two lives finally moving at the same frequency, no longer pulled apart by fear, timing, or unfinished lessons. That's why when it happens, it won't feel overwhelming. It will feel right. You may already be brushing against the edges of this moment without realizing it. Passing through the same spaces. Standing in the same environments. Sharing the same energy. The universe doesn't announce these crossings. It allows them to happen naturally, without pressure, without performance. And here's the most important part to carry with you now. Even before the meeting, you are whole. Even before the connection, your life is meaningful. Love doesn't arrive to complete you. It arrives to join you. To walk alongside the version of you that finally trusts themselves. If there's one thing to remember as you move forward, it's this. You don't need to rush. You don't need to search. You don't need to doubt. What's meant for you recognizes you without effort. Stay open. Stay grounded. Stay present in your life exactly as it is. Because the most powerful connections don't interrupt your peace. They enter it. And when this chapter turns into the next, you'll look back and realize nothing was wasted. Every pause mattered. Every delay protected you. Every step prepared you. You're not late. You're not early. You're right on time. If this journey spoke to you, take a moment to like the video, share it with someone who needs reassurance, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what comes next. And remember, the most meaningful meetings happen when you least expect them, so stay till the end of every chapter.